I've got my warmers are on the back of the tube.
Okay.
So my guns are alive, but I have no high voltage, so I don't know if it's cold.
We had like 20 people at the first meeting, which was incredible. It's hard to believe that was 7 years ago. December will be our 7th anniversary. You know, I just wanted to have the ability to get together with other people that like this hobby, and just thought I'd rent a room, and found one at the local library and contacted people in this area and started the club. We get typically anywhere from 6 to 10 people show up each month. You know, a lot of it, we do a lot of hardware repairs, a lot of troubleshooting things. We have had various themes. We have fixed or upgraded a lot of machines in that 7 years.
So C1 and C2 both should have 5 volts across them, and they do.
For a long time, it was being able to spend one Saturday every month just focusing on the hobby, because it was so hard to find time, you know, otherwise. So for me, that's the great thing, getting together with people, spending time on the hobby, kind of being forced to spend time on the hobby, otherwise you could go months without spending any time on it. For me, that's the best thing.
I brought a Commodore Plus 4 that I just recently picked up off a Shop Goodwill auction. We unboxed it here, and right now it's in a dead condition, so we're trying to diagnose that and troubleshoot that to see if we can get it at least doing something more than that. We can't even get to the point where we can test to see whether or not, you know, the TED's still alive, or if anything else is wrong with the machine right now.
Oh, that'd be right there. Or this guy over here.
Sometimes it's not very obvious.
My Apple IIe that has the Vid HD and the
Sometimes it's really obvious.
CFFA 3000. I like to play around with that. I've brought in TIs. Bring in the Aquarius quite a few times. I like some hardware expansions for that.
That's why we're not seeing regularly.
Several Commodores, several different Apples. And the biggest thing was a TRS-80 Model 3 that in the club meeting we got to produce the magic smoke.
Yeah.
With the reefer cap.
We'll get this one now that we have a nice hot.
I think I heard about it really early, and I started coming right away. And back then, I would bring my TRS-80 Model 1 and or a M2E or something like that. I owned a whole bunch of every 1970 to 80 or early 80s computers. And I would come here, we could look at them and show them off, and people could show me software that would run on them, and it was just a great time. I've just enjoyed sharing everything I've learned and my memories. I like meeting my old friends and seeing the various equipment that people have brought. Today we have someone building a Commodore PET back from parts, and that's pretty cool.
There it is. So it goes through all kinds of weird little test patterns, and it eventually ends up at this thing where it wants to test the keyboard. Watch this. Come on, you can do it. Up, down, left, right, fire. We're not doing that. Here we go. Watch this. And there it is.
Oh, wow. That's good. Both up is 8. Okay, that makes sense.
Well, basically what I was trying to do was I was gifted a Commodore PET 8032 and was wanting to get it working. It was a barn find with probably 23 others and did nothing. So I wanted to clean it up, get it sold, give some funds to the club for the next meeting that or the next expo we're going to have. And we got it put back together. I got the board cleaned up. Got at least making some noise, but unfortunately there's no high voltage on the monitor, so we can't see what we're doing. So it's going to go back home, and I'm going to play with that and get that working. Probably needs a flyback transformer. Now, if you've got Jiffy DOS on, do you have Jiffy DOS on?
No, not yet.
Okay. The meetings, you know, we'll bring stuff, we'll work on stuff, we'll, you know, set up computers and play games, but the expo, I'm also into stand-up arcade games. So I brought arcade games to the expo, and I'm not terribly good at arcade games, but I find that watching other people enjoy my games brings me a lot of enjoyment, if you will.
Well, if you want, I'll get the soldering iron, get it warmed up. We'll set this guy to the side. If you want to pull that.
Last year, 2022, or I'm sorry, 2023, was our first show, and fairly small. We just had a couple of rooms, but we had pretty good turnout. Turns out there are a lot of vintage computer and vintage gaming aficionados in the Indianapolis area, and you know, I thought we had a really good turnout for our first show.
You got Cubert up there? What do you got?
Today I brought some of my Commodore machines. So I brought a Commodore 128D, I brought a SX64, and I brought 1571 drive. They all need Jiffy DOS installed. I've had those as projects for a long time, so I thought I'd bring those in while Leash is here, our Commodore expert, and try to get Jiffy DOS installed in all those machines.